I'm doing this as much for me as I am for you. I've done some really bad things in the past on video. In fact, I'm gonna save you the trouble of digging through my back catalog and throw them in the description down below. Feel free to call me a hypocrite in the comments and tell me how bad some of my old videos were, but I've been improving just like all you guys are over the past 3 years. And I wanted to kind of collate some of that and share with you some of the things that I've learned through my journey here on YouTube. Do you want to make your maker videos more watchable, enjoyable even? Let me show you how to take your maker videos to the next level. And you can take your videos from this to this. People like Peter McKinnon, Matty Apoja, Sarah Dici have done a great job at teaching people how to run and gun and shoot videos holding the camera, looking at themselves. But let's face it, we're not all great at that. And it doesn't make a whole lot of sense in the position around a maker video. When you're making a maker video, most of your audience wants to know what you're making, not so much what your beautiful face looks like. But if you're good at it, more power to you. My goal for this video is to share with you some of the things I've picked up through my 3 years on YouTube, trying to make progressively better and better videos, hopefully. I'm gonna be giving a similar talk at WorkbenchCon in Atlanta in February, partnering with B&H Photo and my buddy William Walker from WM Walker Co. I'll link to his YouTube channel down below as well as in the end card. He's a good buddy of mine. But if you have any questions that I don't answer in this video, I would love to answer your questions in person at the event, so pick up your tickets if you haven't already. And if you can't make it to the event, don't worry, just drop your questions in the comments below that like button, and I'm gonna try to answer all of them. The whole premise of this video isn't necessarily going out and telling you all this new gear that you need to go pick up. Really, videography, photography, all of it's just trying to figure out a way to get the most light into that lens as you can, and the most audio at the highest quality into your video as well. But you can do so without spending a ton of money. But since B&H Photo is supporting my talk at WorkbenchCon, any of the things that I am recommending you check out are affiliate links to B&H Photo. They've got great prices and great quality stuff, so you're not losing anything out there, but just giving you a little bit of a full disclosure here. With all that being said, let's get started. Let's get started with the camera that everybody has in their pocket right now, your smartphone. Smartphones have such a good camera that a lot of YouTubers start on their smartphone and just never get off. There's so many conveniences and ease of use, and the fact that it's always with you really can change the way that you make content. This part of the video is being shot on my Google Pixel 3 XL, last generation's top-of-the-line Google phone. Smartphones capture a great image, but audio, not so much. This audio is probably fine, but this, probably not so good. It picks up all the ambient sounds and has an omnidirectional microphone, and can also just be a little noisy and just not very high quality. Bad audio, either too loud or too noisy or with too much music in the background or too quiet, can really pull people out of content. In fact, a lot of you have probably clicked away from this video just because of the poor quality audio in this segment. You can compensate for this shortcoming in audio by getting real close to the microphone, but y'all probably don't want to see this far up my nose for very long. You can also invest in a halfway decent lavalier microphone for like 20 or 30 bucks. These will really step up your audio quality in a simple and easy way. The only problem is a lot of the smartphones have gotten away with a headphone jack like my Google Pixel, in which case you'll have to use either an external audio recorder or an old dummy smartphone with a headphone jack to record your audio. When you're recording your audios, make sure your levels aren't too quiet so you don't have any dynamics, but also make sure they're not too loud and clipping, because if you can hear that distortion, that's almost just as grating as having poor quality audio in the first place. Another big challenge of shooting with a smartphone is getting enough light into this little tiny sensor. Now, shooting a picture like this is, I guess, kind of okay if you're into that kind of thing, but if you add just one simple key light, like this, people will at least know what they should be looking at. And you don't have to add anything crazy, and you can go crazy with lighting. It's probably one of the most expensive parts of video production. But you can do something as simple as adding like a little $10 like clip clamp-on light from Home Depot that's gonna do a great job at least filling in some of your highlights and giving you a much more presentable image like this. Once you kind of run your course using those clamp lights, easy kind of upgrade path, something that I find a lot more versatile and saving a lot more time and that I've broken a lot less too, has been these LED light panels. The nice thing about them is they can be battery powered, so you don't have those cords to trip over as you move around your shop. It also makes for a lot easier setup for not just setup shots like this where you have lighting that you can leave in place. When you're moving around your shop and want a little bit better lighting at your router table or at your table saw or your drill press, to get that shot just a little bit better and stand out a little bit better against the background. Once you get into lighting, you can also start playing around with color temperature. So like what I'm doing right now is I'm using a 3000 Kelvin bulb to kind of make myself pop against the background of this daylight coming in through the window. You can do stuff like that to add more contrast to shots and to draw people's eye into the focal point of your video, which does really help. But like I said, this is a rabbit hole, and if you want to go down that rabbit hole, I'll attach a couple videos down below in the description. But it can get crazy, and lighting setup can eat a lot of time into your ability to actually make the projects that you're working on. Beyond these limitations, a smartphone has a ton of strengths. For one thing, it's always on you. Almost everybody has a smartphone in their pocket for most of the day. So if something cool happens, you can catch it right as it happens. Like they show a lot of these old World War II shots that they don't look really high quality, but they still hold up today because the moment, the story means a lot more than the quality of the video. You can also use its small form factor and battery and internal recording to get cool shots by using it as kind of an action cam to get shots like this. Or this. Or this. There's a lot of different opportunities you can find with your phone. Don't let the tech be an excuse for why you can't tell the story. Use that kind of lack of ability or the different features that it doesn't have. Instead of using them as crutches, try to use them as opportunities to find fun and interesting ways to add a little pizzazz to your story. So we have our audio and our image figured out, and we kind of got into lighting just a little bit. But why does anyone ever upgrade to these fancy cameras? Now we're getting to the fun stuff. So if you can't tell from my past videos building computers, I'm a bit of a gear junkie. So there's lots of reasons to get into a mirrorless camera, but what are the real reasons to upgrade your technology? I'm glad you asked. Okay, so everyone that you see on YouTube is shooting with one of these new mirrorless cameras. Popular ones right now are the A7 III, the Panasonic GH5. I shoot on a Sony A6500. It's a really good budget option for using on maker videos like this. I also use a 17-105 lens, which is really versatile for getting those tight and wide shots that you'll need running around your shop. At around $1,000 for the body, and this lens is like $500, but you can even shoot with the kit lens for like $1,100. Might even be cheaper than that. I'll put a link below in the description. The A6500 is a powerhouse. It's got great autofocus, so it can like grab your hand, grab your face real quick. And it can also take a lot of lenses that'll give you a lot more versatility. I'm a big fan of the upgrade from a cell phone to at least like a mirrorless camera. For one, cell phones overheat when you shoot long video files on them. And if you're shooting in an unair conditioned shop in the summer, that can be a bit of a challenge. Another big element is it can be a real pain in the butt to get those giant video files off of your phone. Yeah, sure, you can sync with USB, but then you got to deal with, like, if you're with an iPhone going through the Apple Store, whatever it's called now, iTunes, or you can wirelessly drop them to your computer. But video files are huge, so even with a really fast network, that's going to take quite a bit of time. The other thing is that these mirrorless cameras can shoot in much more robust file formats with higher bit rates that are going to hold up better with the compression, decompression, and translation of going from that beautiful video that you shot and edited on your computer to the video you're actually going to upload to YouTube or Instagram or wherever you choose to upload your videos. Not only that, but if you miss your exposure just a little bit, you'll be able to draw up or draw down the exposure without affecting your video quality that much, or even apply one of those fancy Michael Bay color grades if you're into making something cinematic. You can also use a zoom lens to put your audience right into the action wherever you want them to see. Or you can shoot with one of these fancy lenses with a really wide aperture range, like this Sigma f35 with a 1.4 maximum aperture, to get that blurry background in the background that you see in a lot of professional videos. The reason you would do that is to either draw more attention to your subject, in this case, I guess, me or my forehead, whatever you're into, or to hide a little bit of the mess behind you, which I never do. Behind that fancy piece of glass, you also get a much, much larger sensor. So your cell phone sensor is measured in millimeters. The sensor in even a micro 4/3 camera is 4/3 of an inch, so 1 1/3 inches. You can get them even bigger, up to a full frame sensor, to bring in even more light. This is helpful for getting even more blown out backgrounds and also being able to capture good video in low light scenarios, which we all know we're gonna get stuck in sometimes as you kind of move your camera around your shop, you know, from tool to tool, trying to get that perfect shot. One of the coolest things about all these features is they don't just apply to video, they apply to photos as well. So with upgrading to a mirrorless camera, you're upgrading your video and photo quality all in one fell swoop. Mirrorless cameras can also speed up your workflow. By running that upgraded microphone and your video right into that same camera, it can really speed you up in post-production. You can also rig up your mirrorless camera with whatever rigging you need to make your setup exactly what you need it to be. Be that with external monitors, external camera cages, backup batteries to give you more battery life overall. Whatever you need to frame up that perfect shot. Here's the shot we started with from a cell phone, and here's where we're at now. All this tech can get distracting though and can trigger upgrade-itis. So don't be afraid to try to capture the best thing you can with the technology that you have, and let scarcity inspire that creativity. Leaning into your tools as a crutch or having a complex tool to get every shot set up can sometimes hamper you from being able to capture story elements in the most organic way possible. I reached out to B&H Photo to support my talk at WorkbenchCon, not only because I shop there every day, well not every day, but more than I'd like to admit, but because they're a great resource for makers for getting hold of that camera and audio gear to increase the quality of their videos. Not only do they have a great selection and great pricing, but they also have great customer service. They're not paid commissions, so you can call them anytime, even if you're not able to visit their futuristic New York superstore. And they're there to teach you and help you, not to push you towards something that you don't need. They love to help you out with whatever camera technology you're into, and not necessarily steer you towards one brand over another. They have a huge selection of products, and unlike some of the other online retailers, they don't have so much noise. Only the best solutions for the challenges that you're trying to overcome, without some of the knockoff brands that you're gonna find just clouding up some of the inventories of some of these online retailers. If you haven't checked out their website, go to one of the links that I dropped below in the description to one of the products you're interested in at least finding out more about, and check that out. It's a really nice website, really good quality stuff, great pricing. I don't think you're gonna be disappointed. A couple of quick parting tips now that you have all this great footage on how to edit it and really to squeeze the best story you can out of the footage that you have. So one of the lessons that I learned earliest, and I think that everyone should, is be respectful of people's time. This doesn't mean you have to rush through a story with 3-second supercuts and, you know, rapid fire dialogue and everything sped up times 125. It really just means that know that these people have a lot of options for maker videos they could watch, and be respectful of the time that they chose to invest in your video. So just because you have 4 shots of driving in a screw doesn't mean you need to share 4 shots of driving in a screw unless it adds to the story. So be respectful of people's time and be concise with how you lay out everything in your timeline so that it tells the most efficient story as quickly as possible. The other thing is to show, not tell. With show, not tell, it's really, if it takes you longer to say something than it would take you to show it on camera, then you might just want to include it in background dialogue. So if there's a very complex process that doesn't make a lot of sense on camera to lay out, maybe provide some supporting links to help people to dig deeper into certain parts of your process, or go through it in a way where it kind of makes sense conceptually, or refer them to maybe another creator on the platform's video that could go into further detail on a specific step in a process. This can really help you to be more educational, to provide more like tutorial guidance without making your videos absorbently long explaining the details of every individual process within an entire project. This last tip kind of reiterates the first one, but be concise with your edits. There's an old adage in video, which is come in late and leave early. You really shouldn't linger on shots that don't add a lot to either the story or the tutorial going through your video. So you want people to feel like they are driving that dialogue through the way that they enter scenes. This can be done with like interesting shot selection, or just, you know, cutting off the beginning and end of some clips so that they just don't become boring. I watched Jimmy DiResta one time talk about his editing style, I think on their podcast, Making It, and he said that he watches back his clips and he'll cut whenever he starts to get bored, and then he'll chop back a couple more seconds just to make sure he's being interesting with all of the clips he chooses to leave in a video. I could go way down the rabbit hole of editing. There's a ton of stuff I've learned in editing, and if you're interested in it, I'd be happy to present the video. I guess just drop a like down below and let me know in the comments if you want me to dig deeper into editing for makers. I'm thinking about another side project that's still kind of in the works with William Walker, and we'd love to put out some more content like that for you. But since I'm glossing over that and just kind of covering in this video, call back, just got to it anyway. I'm gonna throw some links to some other great editors that share really good content on YouTube and can walk you through and dig you down any rabbit hole you might want to get into. Thanks for checking out this video, and I really hope to see you in Atlanta. If you have any questions about anything that I talked about in this video, feel free to drop a question down below in the comments. I'm gonna try to answer all of those, or grab me in Atlanta when you see me at WorkbenchCon and ask me whatever you got. I'd love to talk to all of you. If you like this video and want to see more videos like this, be sure to let me know, like it, drop a comment, get subscribed, turn on the bell icon, I don't know, whatever YouTubers say these days. I really like sharing these bits of information I can with you. Thanks for watching, and remember to keep your tools sharp and keep your mind sharper.